Hello, Delia. Yeah, you're here. So glad you've clicked on. So we're having a conversation about spirituality and spirit and energy and psychic and all of that stuff. So um, a little bit of my evolution of my understanding of energy and spirit and all that jazz is I started out in a very spiritual and religious family. We were Irish Roman Catholic back in the day, and my father had actually been in seminary. He at one time was going to become a priest before the war, and then he went into the Marines and was in World War II. And my mother came, she was very Irish American Catholic, and went to mass all the time. And we as kids went to Catholic school. So we went to mass every day was in school. So there was a lot of, it was a very spiritual life. We prayed before dinner, and then when we were little, we would do the nightly prayers right at bedtime. But then as the kids had different ages, we would do prayers right after dinner. So we'd pray before dinner and after dinner. And before dinner was just a regular grace. And then the after dinner, the evening prayers were the ones that my mother had um, composed or edited. She pulled together different prayers from different places, different parts of the prayer book and the Bible, and probably not the Bible, wherever Catholics get their prayers from. We were not a big Bible family, but we were catechism and Catholic books, prayer books and such. And my mom always had friends who were nuns, and my father always had friends who were priests. My first job was answering phones in the house where priests lived, the rectory. So uh, we were very aware of the unseen and the beyond everyday stuff. My mother was also an identical twin, so she was very aware of all kinds of things that regular people are not aware of. They had a twin language, a language between the two of them. They were very connected, very telepathic. They always knew when something was wrong with the other. Um, they even, I think to some degree, had a sensation of each other. If one was feeling it, the other had a sensation of it as well. She didn't talk about it very much, but it was very apparent. And in the Irish world, it would have been said that they had the second sight. She was a very visual person, but she was also very kinesthetic. She had the sensation of things. So I remember as a very young child being captivated by the idea of praying all day. And what was so captivating to me was being connected all day. But the vocabulary at the time was prayer. As things, we were encouraged. My father was a college professor. My mother was a librarian. We were encouraged to think about things, think for ourselves about things. And I remember asking questions about the limitations of the religion part of it all. And my mom would encourage me, and it made her a little uncomfortable because she didn't necessarily have answers. She might have had the same questions, in fact. So I noticed kind of a split of some kind, but although I didn't have vocabulary for it. As early as, I don't know, third grade, fourth grade, or however old you are, 10 years old, let's say. And by the time I was 13, I had a really solid sense of everything is energy. When I heard that in grade school, everything is energy, And energy never dies, it just changes form. So if, when a plant or an animal dies, the cellular structure turns into food for other organisms. And then that gets dispersed and disseminated into the environment to feed and give the nutrients to another life form. And so the cycle of life is always in motion. And um, down to the cellular level, we continue to evolve and transmute from one form into another. All of this was really important for awareness information for me, as the whole thing about religion and God and the hierarchy, things I wouldn't have vocabulary for until much later. But my awareness was that okay, this part is not true, and this part has some truth in it, and this part is not true, and that part has some truth in it. And I didn't realize it, but I could tell energetically something is bright and something is dark. I'm very kinesthetic too, so it's also about sensation. It feels light and spacious, or it feels heavy and dark, right? So this is this is a good time to teach you water and paint thinner, which is a way of doing heavy and light, and bright and dark. What's true for you and what's not true for you. So if you want to, just close your eyes and take a couple of nice deep breaths and just repeat to yourself as I say this, um, my body likes water. My body likes water, and see what kind of a sensation you get in your body for that one. And then the other one is my body likes paint thinner or poison. My body likes poison. And notice what sensation you get with that. So generally, water is light and bright and expansive, and paint thinner or poison is dark and heavy and constricting or contracting. And your body will give you a sensation for each of those. So we're not saying I'm hungry, I'm thirsty right now. It's not about I want water right now. It's about, in general, my body likes water. Or my body likes paint thinner, which always makes me laugh. Um, Now, if you were to do water and paint thinner, light and heavy, bright and dark, and instead you got it reversed, so my body likes to drink water and you got a constriction, and my body likes to drink poison and you got a lightness, then it often means that there are other entities inhabiting your space. And so the way to navigate that is with this. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. And with your eyes still closed, just follow along with me. Your system knows how to do this, even if your brain doesn't. Brown, gold, 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 brown, gold. Oh, yeah. See, that just moved all kinds of stuff out of the way, because there's all kinds of stuff trying to interfere with us these days. So now ask your body to give you a response for each of these. And again, let's do my body likes to drink water, and my body likes to drink poison. Yeah, see, it's crisper now. You have a stronger sense of those. So, um, the whole point of the water and paint thinner is so that you can start to navigate by what's true for you. Because there's always going to be, these days, like a tsunami of information, opinions, conclusions, decisions, assumptions, trying to override your own ability to tune in and get what's true for you, to get your own information. And this tool, practicing this tool of water and paint thinner or light and dark, is a great way to start to hone in and come back to navigating by what's true for you. And your body is always trying to give you information to help you navigate to what's true for you. So the more you use water and paint thinner, the more you'll develop that muscle and it'll become clearer and easier and faster. So I often recommend to clients to start using water and paint thinner for everything, because we make something like 10,000 decisions a day, let's say. And if you start to use water and paint thinner to make those choices, because if you're not using water and paint thinner, you're using judgment. On the top, you're using judgment, and underneath, you're hiding an emotional guidance. And the emotional guidance is it's a vibration too. And you're just following the energy of repelling and what's in resisting. Really, you're what can you resist that you don't want, right? And that's the way so much of uh, our society is structured right now, is pushing things away. What do you not want, as opposed to what do you do want? So energy is not good or bad. It can have a flavoring of good or bad. It mostly has a neutrality to it. It just is. It has an isness. Um, so over time, the whole structure of, uh, well, first it was religion, and then it was spirituality. So spirituality was the not religion for me and for many, many people. And it was a way of being connected and having an awareness of the unseen or the beyond without having the hierarchical structure and the control features of human religion, story structure. Because in the story of religion, uh, women are damned and can never be redeemed because of the structure. So I didn't like that. And I came up during that kind of women's lib time. So spirituality seemed like the way to go. But I still took all my angels. I took all the angels, and I still took the hierarchy, even though I was not intending to and not aware of it. But in the beginning, I still was so steeped in religion of original sin. So you're born of evil, and you have to spend your whole life um, trying desperately to get less screwed. And if you're with the God of the Old Testament, you're never going to get unscrewed. And then if you're with the uh, God, Jesus and Mary of the New Testament, you might. So there's lots of hierarchy still going on with spirituality. And in the New Age movement, so much of the New Age world also has the hierarchy of angels, hierarchy of the rays or the colors, or spirituality is better than physicality. And in even in spirituality, there's so much about, rising out of or transcending being human. And that always seemed very peculiar to me. to use human terms, why would spirit, entity, energy go to all the time and trouble and effort of making a body to walk into a bodysuit to walk into the physical world to spend, some period of time here? It seemed to me that that was an awful lot of effort to just be trying to get out of here. So spirit must actually want to be in a bodysuit and on the planet. And so that made more sense to me. That just felt more true to me. And so there's just a lot about spirituality and the structures, even in the New Age world, that don't make any sense to me. And, they did it for a long time and then I evolved out of them. So the thing about spirituality is that if there's still a hierarchy, then it's not really about energy. And for me, energy doesn't have any of those definitions that humans come up with. It's everywhere, it's ubiquitous, it is totally magical because it is unlimited. It's not controlled or defined or limited by human social structures, including hierarchy. And hierarchy is just judgment. It's just really fancy judgment. And this is better than that. And whenever there's something that's better than something else, it's competition. So my understanding went from, the pieces in the structure finally to the actual structure is the thing. So it's not the good and the bad, it's the structure that mandates good and bad. So if you leave that social structure, you find yourself, it's the one we're all steeped in. It's the one we talk about. So it structures our vocabulary. It structures how we interact. Competition is like the bedrock of this reality. And if you're really going to leave good and bad and right and wrong, then that structure is not going to, that structure doesn't work for you either. And I have never seen anybody beat themselves into something greater. I've just never seen it work. God knows I've tried, and beating myself up never produced clear, genuine, generative results. It always produced, hindrance and dampening and oppression and pain and sorrow and a lot of lies to live in. So instead of good and bad and right and wrong, which is the structure of what we're allowed to make decisions on, then if you do water and paint thinner, you're not going to sound very intelligent. I'll tell you that right now, because you have a sense of something. And it's not a sense of what everybody should do. It's a sense of what you should do, but only in this moment. So the other thing about the structure of competition is that it supposedly gives you an answer for all time and for everybody. And energy doesn't. So when it's generative, whenever what you're dealing with is generative, there's not going to be a right and a wrong and a good and a bad. And it's a lightness, which doesn't have a lot of vocabulary with it, or a darkness, which doesn't have a lot of vocabulary to it. And competition also gets you to want to, it's valuable to persuade other people to your point of view. So all that language, right? All that reasoning, all that talky. And if you're navigating by what's true for you in this moment, there's not so much to talk about. And you can come up with lots of reasons, but the more you're navigating by light and heavy, the less interested you are in reasons. because it's all of that is from the land of competition, and something's better than something else. So the best way, what I was trying to get to about talking to my clients about using water and paint thinner is you start going to the groceries. I mean, start with something simple that you do every day, like going to the grocery store or shopping online, as the case may be, and um, choose something and then just ask. So, truth, is this the best? Is this the best broccoli for me? Or is this the best vegetable for me today? And then wait for that light or heavy, which the more you do it, you're going to get the answer even before you can finish the question. And then you go on to another veg and ask the same question. And the more you use this light and heavy, intentionally light and heavy for all of your decisions, the more you're building the muscle. So it's easier and easier to just have a sense of knowing and then follow that. And that's what following the energy is. And the more you follow the energy, the more you're going to be um, honing in on what's your infinite self's truth, right? Your body really does want to be in alignment with your higher self, but it's not a mental game. It's not, you don't think your way into alignment, you be your way into alignment. And the water and paint thinner really helps you be and become who you truly be instead of mimicking others. So that's how uh, spirituality and religion and the evolution of those to get to their essence into energy and not hierarchy. The other thing about women's lib, in my experiences of the evolution, was I didn't want to be told what to do, and I didn't want to be less than. Granted, the water I swam in told me I was less than, and I needed all those angels. I needed Michael to battle for me because I was too afraid to, and I totally believed that I hadn't the capacities. I could not. But Michael could. Michael the archangel could fight for me. Um, Mother Mary, this Jewish mom who she knew how to protect and defend. And when I was in the church and when I was in the hierarchy, I believed that I had no rights and I had nothing to offer because the church told me so. And uh, I needed Michael and Mary and the other angels and hierarchy, high archangels and other entities to help me, to help protect me, because I was so in the belief of not being worthy and not having any power. It's none of that's true anymore. And there are energies and entities that are helpful. And we cooperate together and we correlate, but it's not in the structure of supplicant asking for competitive better than me being to help me. It's much more a partnership and a cooperation, which is a very different energy, very different energy. And it has that nice, clean, neutral energy that energy has to me. So I'm moving away from using the term spiritual because of the inherent hierarchy in the common definition of spirit and spirituality. And it's not spirit like you're dead and you're the same person, you just don't have a body and you're invisible. It's none of that's an accurate picture or a helpful picture for me anymore. And so that's why we're moving into more just energy work and awareness, because it doesn't have the connotations and the projections, the expectations. People expect certain things around the word spirit and spiritual, same as people expect certain things around religious and religion. So energy has uh, more of that cleanliness, that just simplicity, that truth. It just is. So use the water and paint thinner and start to see what it's like to navigate by what's true for you, because your higher self uses the sensations of your body and the vocabularies of your body, one of which is sensation. There's also emotion, and there are others, uh, to give you what's true for you, expansion and space, and what's not true for you, what's not going to be contributing to you, which is dark and heavy and constricting. So I hope you find this useful, and I'd love to hear about your experiences with using light and dark or water and paint thinner with navigating your life. All right, thank you. See you next time.